All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. That is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of the Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation. And that is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus a so-called black man who only came for the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, primarily here in the Western Hemisphere, but also to the rest scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth who look like the other nations, but through the patrilineal lineage go back to the Hebrew Israelites, all right? Now, what we have here is an incident that took place a couple of days ago over in Spain and Portugal, where they had a power outage, where now they're chalking it up to an atmospheric phenomenon, okay? In this clip right here, we see in the midst of the power being out or outages, people went out and panic bought, okay? Now, some may say, well, they were afraid of not knowing if and when power would ever come on, that they would have anything to eat, okay? But yet, you see the power is on in the background, okay? So what really is occurring, all right? Is it something atmospheric phenomenon, or is it something more sinister, okay? Because one is to believe that it could be a dry run or a test run before they get ready to put the finishing touches. By they, I am speaking of the elites, the ones that rule this society, this kingdom, the wicked, known as the Edomites, spoken of in Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked, okay? So I can't put anything past them by, even though it's said to be chalked up or, accredited to some type of atmospheric phenomena. I wouldn't put it past these wicked elites that they somehow manipulated or somehow use that to test run these things before they come, okay, to America, all right? Because you got to understand, when it's time, they're going to use everything and everything that they can to bring down America, man, okay? They used Cuba for a crisis when Cuba was out. See, Cuba isn't a developed country as Spain, okay? Now, we're going to see right here in this video clip the amount of people that are just panic buying, okay, when the lights come back on, because they're still in that initial stage of, well, what if it comes back off, or what if it goes back off? I want to get as much as I can, all right? So you can see how when something like this hits a big city like New York City or San Francisco or Miami or somewhere like that, there's going to be a lot of people out here in America, Babylon the Great, panic buying, okay, within the first hour, because they're not going to know if lights are going to come back on or if it's going to be sustainable or what, okay? So as it sits currently, they're chalking it up, or they giving credit to a atmospheric phenomenon, all right? Whether it is or whether it isn't, we know that it's all according to the will of the Heavenly Father, all right? And He's getting ready to bring these calamities and these burdens to Babylon the Great, okay? Because it says in Isaiah 19, verse 1, He cometh in a cloud, okay? So He's getting ready to come to Babylon the Great and visit Babylon the Great, because these elites don't have too much more longer until they have to bring it to America, okay? Because this place has to be crippled and the economy has to be null and void to bring in that mark of the beast system that they want so badly to bring in and get everybody chipped. Okay? So let's let this clip play. We'll probably get an article speaking on this, and then we'll get a couple of precepts. All right? So check it out. Need I remind you, Spain is what they call a developing country. So it's developed, all right? But I don't want to say on the scale of America, but it is indeed a developed country. It's not like a third world country or anything, okay? So the fact that they can have a power outage in such a developed country in Europe, hey, speaks volume when it's America turn, because everybody's going to get hit. It may not all be at once, but, you know, in some way, shape, or fashion, it's going to affect the whole globe, okay? So keep that in mind, that Spain is a developed country, all right? It's not like Cuba or Haiti or some third world country. This is a developed country, all right? So if their grid got hit by something that they're calling an atmospheric phenomenon, what's to say America grids can't get hit by that same thing, okay? Wink, wink, all right? And facilitate panic buying and everything else that comes along with uncertainty, all right? So let's continue to let this play a little bit, and then we'll get that article. Remember, this is more than likely after the power came back on, the uncertainty of not knowing whether or not the power would go back off is enough to facilitate this panic buying, all right? And there was also individuals taking money out of the ATM, okay? Because see, once you have something like this happen and shakes up the fabric of your society where uncertainty isn't known, you want to do what? As much as you can to prepare for it if it doesn't come back on or if it does go back off, all right? But see, the people aren't preparing in the right way, all right? Instead of preparing in the spirit, they're preparing in the flesh, all right? Because all this panic buying ain't going to mean nothing if the lights or if the power do go back out, if you don't have Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai to guide and direct your paths, okay? So all this is just out of fear. And these Edomites, these elites, they're taking in all this intel, this information, all right? Because all this is being scanned, all right? Through what? Electronics, all right? They're swiping and scanning in these stores because why? It's a developed country. So the elites could see the panic buying and use this for what? Information, okay? So we see if we let a few hours go by in a well-developed country where the train stations are not working, where the airports are not working, it's going to cause the average thinker to panic, okay? So just imagine a day or two or three or a week or two, man. It's going to be mayhem, complete chaos. And that's what they need. That's what they're looking for, all right? So finish up.
This I'm going to play it for all, okay?
Don't mean to keep pausing, but I could just see fights breaking out in grocery stores over the last whatever it is, okay? I could just see fights breaking out, man. Civil unrest, man. And it's coming to America, okay? America, you just wait, man. These elites, they see, they gotta put their thinking caps on to bring this type of mayhem and chaos throughout the land here in America, man. Okay. But when it comes, it's gonna be go time, man. All right. They've already started uh the stock markets tainting. All right. They got to get something real, real creative going here in America, man. All right. So it's just fascinating to see, you know, these things happening, but knowing that it's coming to America eventually, man. All right. Because America is that place, man. All right. All right, so here's the article as stated, and it says power returns to Spain and Portugal. The outages cause remains a mystery. Okay, this was a couple of days ago, but now they're accrediting or chalking it up to an atmospheric phenomenon. All right, whatever that means. It says Madrid. The cause of Spain and Portugal's widespread blackouts remain a mystery. And we know who's behind this, man, okay? We know ultimately it's the will of the Heavenly Father, but we know he uses, the wicked, the elite, all right, to bring in these type of things to get, more intel. See, these elites, you got to understand, they work iniquity on their beds, while they sleep, and they think about how can we, use what we have to not just cause fear and panic, but also because it's all about intel with these devils, man. They want to get information. All right, this is how they feel secure. You got to remember, Esau was a cunning hunter, man. All right, so these wicked elites, they love information to gather to hunt. All right, to them, it's a game. All right, and you people are the prey, man. All right, it's just a game to these people, man. All right, so ultimately, they get you chipped. This is what they want. This is what they want. They're wanting to get a big game. See, when you go hunting, there's certain levels to hunting. All right, you got your regular hunters, and then you got your big game hunters. All right, these elites, they really want the elect. All right, that's the big game that they're looking to get. They really want the elect, but they can't touch the elect. So they're gonna have to settle for the regular, 2/3 of our people, man. All right, but they really want that. They really want an elect. All right, but they're not gonna get the elect to the point where the elect fold, man. Because let's say they round up the elect, or they round up a member of the elect and take him somewhere to a prison, all right? And threaten him to say, if you don't take this, then we're gonna behead you. Well, guess what? If that's a member of the elect, they're going to get beheaded for the sake of Yahweh Shai's sake, man, not to take that microchip, all right? So these elites, they really come in the spirit of their forefather Esau, in the sense that they're game hunting, all right? And they're getting the intel through these quote unquote incidents, all right? That they saying that it's a natural disaster per se, like an atmospheric phenomenon that attacked the grid, all right? They'll never come out and give you the complete analysis, because why? They're gathering the information from people panic buying, just in general, seeing how people react to these things, okay? It says, the cause of Spain and Portugal widespread blackouts remained a mystery on Tuesday, with some isolated disruption remaining after power was largely restored. See, so they still had some disruption after the power was restored. There was still certain parts of Portugal and Spain that were, experiencing, here and there outages, even though power was restored. That's what facilitated that panic buying. It says one of Europe's most severe blackouts grounded flights, paralyzed train systems, disrupted mobile communications. This sounds like a elite, one of these wicked elites' wet dreams, man. All right, they probably got their rocks, kicked off by having these type of interruptions. Let's look at it again. One of Europe's most severe blackouts, grounding flights. These are all going to cause panics. Paralyzing train systems. This is your transportation. Disrupt mobile communications. That's your phone call. That's your ability to communicate and telecommunicate. And shut down ATMs. Man, this is a wicked elite wet dream, man. This is what they go to bed working iniquities for. How can they create chaos? Just imagine when it hits America. They really gonna get their rock. They're really gonna get their rocks off, man. It says, and shut down ATMs across the Iberian Peninsula on Monday, man. Imagine the major cities: New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Miami, Dallas, Houston. You name these major cities. Imagine in these major cities, transportation hubs, the trains stop working, the buses stop working, the flights are grounded, the ATMs aren't running. Man, it's gonna cause complete chaos, man. Complete chaos. And this is what they're looking for. It says by 11 a.m. on Tuesday, the Spanish electrical system was functioning normally. See? So it says by 11 a.m. on Tuesday, the Spanish electrical system was functioning normally. Electricity operator Red Electricity said. Portuguese grid operator REN said power had been restored to all 6.4 million customers. That's quite a handful. As life began to return to normal. See? When it hits America, it ain't going back to normal. All right? That's why I said these are test runs, okay? Dry runs. When they bring this scale of mayhem and chaos here to America, let's just say half the country, it ain't going back to normal, man. All right? Let's just say half of the country is hit with worldwide, nationwide outages. It ain't going back to normal here in America, man. Okay? It says, as life began to return to normal, authorities in Spain had yet to provide further explanation for why the nation of 49 million people lost 15 gigawatts, equivalent to 60% of its national demand in 5 seconds. Just think, in 5 seconds, more than half of their nation lost power. That's all it took, man. Okay? And like I said earlier, Spain and Portugal are developed countries, all right? It ain't like Cuba or Dominican Republic or Haiti or something like that. No, these are well-developed countries because why? They have a lot of tourism, okay? So imagine America, man, when it hits America, all right? It's going to catch a lot of people by surprise. It may be a work day or it may be the end of a work week. You going home or you going to the bar and all of a sudden the power go out. You catching the trolley up there in San Francisco to the bar after work on a Friday, and it goes out. You in New York City, you on the subway, and the power goes out. You stuck underground, man. You see? So it's going, man, when it hit, whatever they use or whatever the Most High puts in them to use to bring chaos here to Babylon, the great America, the people ain't going to be ready, man. All right? It's going to catch them by surprise. All it took was 5 seconds for this. Okay? So it says on Tuesday, Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez said the government's priorities were restoring Spain's electrical system and finding the cause of the blackout so that a similar event never takes place again. Well, we gonna see. All right, we shall see. Okay, so let's get a few precepts and then let's take it from there. All right, we in the book of Isaiah 19, and like I said earlier, the Most High is gonna visit this place, Babylon the Great, man. It's just a matter of time, man. It's just a matter of time when Babylon the Great is up to bat, okay? We had Cuba with power outages that affected the whole island. Now we got Spain and Portugal, and it's only a matter of time for Babylon the Great, America, to be up, okay? America, Babylon the Great, you coming to the batting cage. You gonna get ready, man. It's going to be your turn, and the Most High is coming. It says, Isaiah 19:1, the burden of Egypt. Behold, Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. You see? So Yahweh's coming, man. Okay, and he's going to send his only begotten son, Yahushua, with the chariots, man. All right, but before Yahushua comes, there's going to be complete and utter chaos and mayhem going on here in Babylon the Great, man. All right, so these elites, these wicked elites, they planning these things, man. Let's go there, Micah 2. All right, they know they don't have much time, so what are they doing? It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. All right, they have to bring in this beast system, spearheaded by their baby. Well, it's actually the Most High's microchip, but he's going to let Esau, Edom, introduce it to the world so that what? Judgment could come. All right, because once you take that microchip, that's your ass, man. Okay, that's it. There is no taking, or there is no coming back from once you take it. All right, and it's going to be because the Most High ain't dealing with you. All right, because why? The time that you got now to get right, you wasted it. Okay, so it says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hands, or their hand, Salakia. So yeah, they got the calls, they got the ability to make these type of moves, man. All right, don't think that they couldn't pull something off like this, all right, to just get feedback from the people on how they going to actually react when it's actually go time, all right? When it's actually the real deal, when the power ain't gonna come back on for a while, all right? When the power's gonna be off, and guess what? They say the freaks come out at night, man. You're gonna have all type of shit going on in that day, man, that time, all right? And if Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai ain't dealing with you, you're going to be subject to whatever it is that he see fits to have you go through and experience, all right? So this is Psalms 64, is it? In verse 2, it says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. See, they plan these things way far out in advance, okay? It ain't just by happenstance that something happened like this. No, man, these people, they work iniquity on their beds, and they have these think tanks where they plan things 5 and 10 years out ahead of time. That's why they got things like Project 2030, where they got to hit their intended target by 2030. All right. So they got things, and they got to move things progressively in order to get their plans, executed. All right. So blackouts and power outages are ways to them to see how far along they've gotten, or how far along they need to get. Okay. So it says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. We know the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, pursuant to Job 9:24. So we know who the wicked is. It's the Edomites, man. All right. Just look how the world is being ran, man. All right. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, man. So it's nothing nice about these damn elites, all right, except for they getting ready to go into slavery, man. After they put this B system up and have the microchip implemented, it's a countdown for slavery for them. Okay, they gonna run and try to hide in their bunkers, pursuing to Revelation 6, and the Most High is gonna send hunters to go hunt them out of it, Jeremiah 16:16, and they gonna be in slavery, man. All right, so they gotta do what they gotta do, man, and the Most High is coming, and they know it. All right, so look for more outages. All right. Look for more bank runs. Okay. Look for more panic buying. All right. But just wait till it comes to America. It's going to hit different here in America, man. All right. It's going to hit way different. Okay. So this is Psalm 64:8. It says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Right. So you seeing the works that they putting in place, man. This should give you all the more fear to get right with the Lord while you still got chance, man. All right, because they televising their acts, their works, man, through what? Their news channels, their news articles, their websites. They putting it out there, man. All right, they just speaking in code. They letting you know, hey. We getting ready. We coming to America, Babylon the Great, soon. All right. You gonna get hit with an atmospheric phenomenon or whatever they want to use to bring it in with. Okay. Where airplanes are grounded, because they did something like that last year with what was that thing? Where it shut down the internet. Okay. That was global. That was worldwide. They did last year. Okay, I forgot the name of it, man. I can't think of it. Where the internet was down for a while, all throughout the earth, man. All right, so they getting these things put into place for when it comes to America, Babylon the Great, man. Internet outages, power outages, bank runs. Okay, don't forget about a couple of years ago they had banks. People not certain of banks. They was doing bank runs, okay? So it's all building up to that what? That microchip, okay? Because they want to get this thing done by 2030, man. They only got a couple of years left. Well, a little bit over a couple of years, probably 3 years or so, all right? But the way prophecies are coming out, they got to bring it quicker than 2030, man. All right? So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up with 1 Peter 5:8. Well, you know what? Let's get 2 Corinthians 2:11, all right? This is 2 Corinthians 2:11, and it reads, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. See, this truth is keeping us up on game, man. It's putting us ahead of the curve, man, because 2/3 of our people don't know what's going on. They stuck in the dark, man, thinking that these things are just happening by coincidence, man. No, we know Satan get ready to make a move. He got to make his move, man. And we're not ignorant of his devices because we know he works iniquity from his bed and in these secret councils. All right? So he has to move. He has to get ready to do this. And we're not ignorant because why? We're measuring the time diligently. All right. We're watching this man. We're keeping an eye on this man. All right. We're being sober. We're being vigilant. All right. Now let's go to 1 Peter 5 and 8. This is 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. It reads, be sober, be vigilant, or lest this devil will get an advantage of you. All right. This is what the 2/3 lack, man. They lack sobriety. They lack the ability to be vigilant, to watch this devil. All right. They just out and about having a good time. Thinking that that's over there in Spain. That'll never happen to America. Well, I'm sure Spain thought it would never happen to them as well. All right. That's how this devil's going to catch you off guard, unaware, out having a good time on a Friday evening, Friday night. Next thing you know, all the power's out. The ATM ain't working. Okay? That's where he wants you at, not being sober. So it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. He's doing his due diligence. That's why he's walking. He's putting together these plays, these scenarios, these chaos, mayhem, you name it. Okay? This is what he's doing in his secret councils. This is what he's doing on his bed. He's working iniquity. He's walking. He's not running. He's thoroughly going through every imaginable scenario for when this happens and it comes to America. All right? I got my troops. I got the troops already over here, which is the martial law. I got them in check. All right? We got every stronghold cut off in these major cities where people won't be able to come and go. We got that. All right? Planes ain't going to be flying at that time. They're going to be grounded. Okay? Trains ain't going to leave out of these cities. They're going to be grounded. ATMs ain't going to be working, so you can't take cash out and get an Uber. All right? A lot of these major cities is based on public transportation. How you going to get out? You don't have a car. People don't really drive cars in New York City like that. All right, they get around through what? The metropolitan, the train, the bus, taxis, and everything like that. Well, if you got no communication on your phone where you can use Cash App or anything like that, how you going to get out the city? See, you're going to be stuck and left there, man. See, that's why it's important to get yourself right with the Most High right now, man. Because you never know where you're going to be at when it all goes down. All right? So be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. All right? So with that being said, pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom. Peace.